Good day, traders. Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. Tuesday, May 12th, daily currency levels for the pound crosses. Coming up tonight, we have U.S. CPI and core CPI at 8:30 a.m. New York Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we do have quite a bit of news on the schedule for the week. We have the official cash rate for New Zealand dollar and the RBNZ rate statement. Press conference tomorrow as well. Preliminary GDP for the pound. Federal Chair Powell speaks tomorrow evening or tomorrow morning U.S. time on Wednesday. And of course, we have Aussie and New Zealand announcements Thursday with the BOE, Governor Bailey speaking on Thursday for the pound. And then Friday, we have German preliminary GDP and core retail sales for the United States. Just clarifying what these levels mean when we look at the dailies and 4-hour and the 15-minute. A couple of traders have asked, let me explain that if you are in a move, the market stop hunts high on your 15-minute charts, you get a big move down or you get a downward move, it's important to understand, especially when you're at major levels, that instead of going for 30 pips, that you potentially may be in a 250 pip move. And I'm not suggesting that you hold on for that 250 pip move, but it's important again to emphasize where the money is. There are stops positioned underneath all of those levels. There are stops positioned above, and those stops could be breakout orders. They could be long-term positions being held, stop loss orders, profit-taking orders. There's a multitude of reasons why traders would have them in the market, hedge funds, institutions, whatever. But it's important to have a big picture scenario because, for example, last week, some traders caught the entire move down because they knew that this was a 1, 2, 3 at the beginning of the month for a continuation down to the round numbers, at least stop hunting traders who were long. So again, we've consolidated at the numbers, major round numbers on a 1, 2, 3 back against the move. If this market was to break down through this level, it is possible to test these stops all the way down to the bottom of the 250 pip box. We are in a fairly strong move from the peak formation. And as I mentioned yesterday, there is a measured target for one full expansion, taking this down down to around the 8580 level, 8600. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that will follow through, but this measured target from the breakout of the upper 3-push pattern has a high probability of possibly continuing that move that we already have in place. When we look at the 4-hour, again, we can see this market dropped down last week, went sideways and consolidated. We've hit the stops above that range yesterday. If this market was to take out the lows of the big bull candle from last night, the lows at 89.85, we could see some follow through down through that lower level. When we look at our 15-minute chart, again, this morning we've already had a 100 pip move from the open, clearing out stops from the U.S. session highs, consolidating above the round numbers on a 1, 2, 3 to the high. So traders, again, this first hour, taking traders up high, hitting the stops before the Asian markets opened, and 1, 2, 3 pins on top, sideways, and engulfment at the round numbers for a 50 pip move down, hitting the stops of traders in the pre-market. Now, we may see another move back up, hitting the stops on traders who are short, and a continuation of that move back down. If this was to extend down and consolidate, we could see the market testing the round numbers at 1.9000 level, either for a move back up or a breakout pullback and a continuation down through the lows of Monday. Again, low of the week, high of the week. We may see a retest of the high of the week on a stop hunt in that Europe Open for a move back down through the lows. Up next, our pound Canadian. Again, our daily levels, we've consolidated at the 72.50 area with pins on the bottom after hitting last week's swing lows from Friday night. Again, no clear directional move after the big move down yesterday. If we look at our 4-hour chart, we can see that the market has consolidated, stayed in that consolidation still between the 73.63 high and yesterday's 7,200 low. Again, we have a stop hunt candle high, inside bar, and possibly a 1, 2, 3. We could see that market retest the 72.50 level and possibly retest the lows of yesterday. When we look at our 15-minute chart, again, pushing up and extending the range in Asia, we may see another hit to the high and possibly heading up towards yesterday's U.S. sessions high. So we are working towards the high. We could see that market do 1 push, 2 push, 3 pushes for a move back down to the low of the day. Currently trading around the round numbers, and obviously if we're working the high, we may see that market retest that double zeros. Up next, our pound Swiss. Again, the market on the daily chart taking out last month's lows before consolidating underneath of that high and low at the round numbers at 1.2000. So again, last month's peak, last month's low, we're jammed inside. No clear directional move just as yet, but we do have stops below yesterday's lows for the low of the week. When we look at our 4-hour chart, we can see that this market has broken below the round numbers and is currently consolidated underneath. Again, if we were to see this market roll off the round numbers and head down, we've got stops from 2 weeks ago as well as the lows of this week, and lots of room for that market to move. We would need to come back above the round numbers, breakout pullback for a continuation towards the highs of the week. When we look at the 15-minute chart, again, just to review yesterday, we saw the market push up in 3 pushes. So again, the market was working the high of Friday's U.S. session highs before 1, 2, 3 to the high in the pre-market, pinning the top, and London dropping down 50 and then 100 pips before hitting the stops again and then pulling back and reversing in the U.S. Open. We're currently trading underneath of that 000 level, stop hunting towards the high of the day. We could roll over and retest that breakout session from the U.S. markets last night and take testing yesterday's lows. Again, if we were to work and break through the high and come back on top of the double zeros, we could trade back and test yesterday's U.S. session highs. Pound yen. Again, this market broke down through last month's lows before pulling back to 32.50. Currently, we're at an inside bar on a 1, 2, 3. We could see this market possibly retest the lows of the month from last week. We look at our 4-hour chart. We have 1 push, 2 push, and we're on a 3rd push back towards the high. So again, if this market was to test the breakout of the last short candle and then roll over, we could retest the lows of the week and last week. But again, 1 push, 2 push. This is our 3rd push. If this market was to find some legs, it will break through the highs, retesting the highs from last week. Looking at our 15-minute chart, we can see that the market dropped down 50 pips before consolidating. 1 push, 2 push, 3 pushes, and now heading back into the Europe session. How this Europe Open goes, we may retest stop hunting back low for a move back up, or possibly stop hunt back up towards the Asian high to retest the highs of the day. If this market was to drop down, we could see a retest of that double zero level. But again, stop hunt high, we may see a sell signal somewhere up top for a move back through the lows of the Asian consolidation. Pound New Zealand. Again, the market dropped down last week, and yesterday we had a 1-bar pullback and outside bar consolidating on top of the numbers. This market possibly could have a measured move down still intact. It would all depends if we break through that 250 level to retest yesterday's lows. We could see a measured move take place in retesting the lows from 2 weeks ago. We would need to stay on top of this area of the 250 level to hold and possibly retest the breakout from last Thursday. When we look at our 4-hour chart, this market has pulled back and consolidated inside of that 250 level underneath the 350. So we're in a 100 pip range. Again, if this market was to break down and retest the lows of yesterday, we could see a fairly strong move down to the bottom of that 250 pip box. Looking at our 15-minute chart, the market pinned up briefly 50 pips, stop hunting traders who were short from last night's U.S. session and before selling off in the Asian market open, dropping down, consolidating, and continuing that move down. If we see a stop hunt high back towards traders who were short, we could see a continuation off of that round numbers for a move back down towards Friday's U.S. session longs and the lows of the day. Lastly, our British pound. Again, looking at our daily chart, trading sideways in a consolidation inside of the swing low from last month and the peak formation from the beginning of the month. This market dropped down yesterday on an engulfment. We're currently trading inside of that, but we are in a sideways market. Depending on how we handle that breakout from yesterday, this market could pop back inside or find resistance at that level to roll over and retest the lows from yesterday and from last week and from the previous swing lows from last month. Looking at our 4-hour chart, again consolidated inside of that tight range from the breakout at the beginning of the week and last week's lows. I think we may see a retest of that lower area of that 250 pip box. Looking at our 15-minute chart, we can see that the market is still trading inside of the U.S. session high and low. We're stop hunting high or moving up towards the highs of the day. That market could find some resistance around that 2350 level, possibly for a second little micro double top and a reversal or a breakthrough, taking out the highs and finding some support at that 2350 level for a continuation back towards yesterday's London shorts. But if this market was to fall over or start dropping down, testing the swing lows, we could find yesterday and last Thursday's lows get taken out with a move down into that lower 50 pip box. So hopefully you got some value from today's video, traders. Again, just to emphasize, the levels give you an idea of where these markets have the potential to move towards, because there are orders there, and orders are money to the market. So it's important not to just see them as technical levels. They are levels that the market will move to clear the board of those orders. And just closing on a quote today from one of the market wizards: although the cheetah is the fastest animal in the world and can catch any animal on the plains, it will wait until it is absolutely sure it can catch its prey. It will wait for a baby antelope, and not just any baby antelope, but preferably one that is also sick or lame. Only then, when there is no chance it can lose its prey, does it attack. That, to me, is the epitome of trading. And just to emphasize, I look for the trades coming off of the extremes of the highs and the lows when we have a technical reason or a price action confirmation to trade those. I want to see a stop hunt high for a reversal, or I want to see a trend continuation in a very strong move. I want to sell weakness and I want to buy strength. Keep it simple, traders. Stay on the outside. That first hour is often a stop hunt. Keep it simple. Stay disciplined. Have a great trading day, and may the markets go with you.
Hi traders, it's Stacey Burke from Stacey Burke Trading. If you haven't done so, please head over to my website at staceyburketrading.com. I create updates on almost a daily basis, and I would love for you to receive them. Just click on the blog. If you want to enter your name and your email address, I'll send you my free audio program, the 7-Step Daily Routine for High-Performance Traders. This is essential knowledge for all traders in all markets, and this is for helping traders to master the market with discipline, confidence, and a winning mindset. I appreciate all your feedback and comments. As always, traders, stay disciplined, and may the markets go with you.